Leo, a big message is coming. It holds the kind of weight that shifts your path, answers your deepest prayer, and opens a divine gate you've been waiting to walk through. What's about to happen is not simply a prediction, it's a soul-level confirmation that something long overdue is being released to you now. Your wish is being delivered. And someone you may not even notice sees the sky every time they see you. If you've landed here today, it's not by chance. There is no algorithm strong enough to pull you into this space unless your energy was meant to receive what's unfolding. You're not just watching a video. You've answered a calling. A moment. A message carried through light, timing, and the unseen currents of the universe that always know exactly where to send the next miracle. This space, eternal mindfulness, is not about hype or hollow promises. It's about alignment, healing, divine timing. It's where astrology, intuitive insight, and deep spiritual truth come together to remind you of one thing: you are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are exactly where you're supposed to be, and everything is converging right on time. The energies of August 31st are no ordinary flow. With the waning moon moving through Sagittarius, the skies are urging you to reflect on what's already been sown and to prepare your hands to harvest. Venus retrograding in your sign is no accident either. It's showing you how far you've come in valuing your own heart. And Mercury retrograde in Virgo is uncovering hidden messages, forgotten dreams, and delayed answers that are now ready to surface. And yes, someone out there sees you. Not just physically, but sees the soul of you. You may have no idea how much light you've brought to them, how your resilience, your smile, or even your silence has become a reminder that hope still exists. You radiate strength that heals, even when you don't realize it. That alone is reason enough to expect a miracle. So breathe. You don't have to chase what is already yours. The message, the breakthrough, the confirmation, it's already in motion. But now you must receive it. And sometimes, receiving begins by simply choosing to believe that you're ready. Take a moment right now to affirm it. Leave a comment below saying, "I am open. I am ready. I receive this message with faith." Your words carry energy, and by speaking it into existence, you are stepping into co-creation with the divine. Let me take a moment to say thank you for your presence, your energy, your choice to be here. Every like, every comment, every subscription is more than just a number, it's a ripple of faith that helps grow this sacred space and allows these healing messages to find those who need them most. Your support fuels this mission. And trust me, beloved Leo, you will want to stay with me through every second of what's coming next. The universe is about to reveal something magnificent and you won't want to miss it. So take a breath. Let your heart be still. And let's step into the deeper layers of today's divine message. Together. The movement in the sky right now is not random, it is rhythmic, intentional, and deeply personal, especially for you, Leo. What you're feeling in your spirit, the subtle shifting of expectation, the strange inner sense that something is about to happen. It's not anxiety. It's divine alignment. The waning moon passing through Sagittarius is more than an astronomical moment, it's a spiritual mirror reflecting what you've already planted and now preparing you to receive its long-awaited fruit. In astrology, Sagittarius rules expansion, wisdom, and the kind of hopeful adventure that only comes after faith has been tested. As the moon wanes through this fiery sign, your energy is being gently invited to look not only at what's coming but at what you've already survived. It's saying, this harvest is yours. You've earned this. Venus retrograde in Leo adds another layer of beauty and complexity to this time. Retrogrades aren't setbacks, theory, invitations. This isn't a delay in love or value, it's a refinement of it. When Venus moves backwards in your own sign, it asks you to pause, to reflect on how you love yourself, how you've been measuring your worth, and whether you've been negotiating with your own value out of fear. What old story are you still carrying about what you deserve? This planetary movement gently opens your heart not to the love you've lost, but to the deep, unwavering love you've yet to fully give yourself. When Venus retrogrades in Leo, it is a holy homecoming to your divine identity. And this celestial invitation whispers, you don't have to prove your worth. You only need to remember it. Mercury retrograde in Virgo further deepens this reflection, not to create confusion, but to bring clarity to the pieces that were previously scattered. Virgo governs detail, logic, and tangible structure. So when Mercury, planet of communication and mental processing, moves in reverse through this analytical sign, it surfaces hidden information. Perhaps a message you were meant to hear but missed. A conversation that should have happened but didn't. A contract or proposal once stalled now finds its way back into your orbit. This energy doesn't bring noisy, it brings revelation. And in the quiet, you'll begin to hear things you weren't able to before. Spiritually speaking, this entire celestial orchestration mirrors a deep biblical truth, that sometimes, before the promise is fulfilled, there is a pause, not as punishment, but as preparation. Like the seed that lies in darkness before it breaks the soil, you too have been in waiting. But this waiting was not wasted. In fact, it was sacred. And now, as these planetary alignments unlock their gifts, you are being called to step forward not with urgency, but with trust. Trust that what's meant for you is circling closer, not further. Trust that you didn't miss it. That the opportunity you thought had passed is making its way back to you, but this time, on more solid ground. You're not late. You're right on time. Just as God's timing is never off, the divine choreography of these cosmic alignments is unfolding precisely when you are ready to hold what's been prepared for you. Even if you don't feel ready, the energy around you is saying, you are. And when you embrace this moment with both faith and openness, the manifestation will not feel like a surprise, it will feel like a homecoming. So take a deep breath. You are not chasing your future. You are aligning with it. What was once withheld is now being released, not as a favor, but as a fulfillment. Not because you asked perfectly, but because your soul has remained faithful. That is enough. That is everything. And that is why the sky is moving now just for you. There is a moment, quiet and almost imperceptible, when the weight of waiting begins to shift. You may not hear a trumpet or see flashing signs, but you feel it in your body. In your breath. In that subtle sense of something clicking into place. Leo, this is that moment. The energetic tide is turning, and for you, it's bringing a message wrapped not just in words but in tangible reward. What you've been waiting for, financial confirmation, material stability, or a long-promised return, is finally stepping forward to meet you. Not because it's falling from the sky like a favor, but because you've earned it. Quietly. Consistently. Even when no one saw the work you were doing, the universe did. And now, it responds. In astrology, Cards like the Seven of Pentacles and Nine of Pentacles represent more than just wealth. They represent the maturation of patience, the delayed gratification of effort, and the soul's willingness to invest in something unseen. These archetypes aren't about lottery wins or quick rewards. They speak of those who labor in silence, who build steadily, who wait without applause. And that's been your journey, hasn't it? You've held on while others moved ahead. You've sown when others took shortcuts. And even if no one validated your journey, this cosmic season does. What's coming toward you is not only a material gift, it is a recognition. It may arrive in the form of an overdue payment, a contract finally being signed, an opportunity that once slipped past but now circles back in divine timing. And here's the key: it will arrive in a way that makes sense to your soul. It won't just be useful. It will feel right. Timely. Aligned. Like the missing piece to a puzzle you've long held in your hands. But as we speak of abundance, it's important to remember, abundance is not only what you receive, it's how you hold it. What you do when the doors finally open. That's why this part of the journey isn't just about manifestation, it's about stewardship. Because what you're receiving now is meant to last. It's not a thrill, it's a foundation. And what you do next matters. So pause before rushing to spend. Take a breath before you celebrate. Ask yourself, how can this gift serve not just the present version of me but the future version I'm becoming? This is where self-help becomes spiritual maturity. Planning your next step wisely. Investing not only in more money, but in your health, your learning, your peace. Consider where you can plant this blessing so that it multiplies not just in your bank account, but in your daily joy, your mental freedom, your creative courage. Remember, every dollar carries energy. When you spend it with awareness, you're not just buying things, you're voting for the kind of life you want to live. And maybe the most powerful part of all of this isn't the gift itself, it's that you didn't give up before it arrived. In that way, this message is less about prosperity, and more about validation. Proof that waiting wasn't a waste. That restraint wasn't failure. That faith, even without visible proof, has the power to move outcomes. What you are receiving now is the universe's way of saying, I saw what no one else did. I'm responding now. So take this moment gently. You're not behind. You're not broken. You are in sync with something far bigger than time or economy. And as this blessing arrives, may it remind you of something even greater than money, that you are deeply supported, fully seen, and eternally in process exactly as you are. Sometimes healing doesn't come from grand gestures or perfectly scripted conversations. It arrives in silence, in presence, in the invisible warmth you give off just by being exactly who you are. Leo, your energy is not loud for the sake of attention. It radiates because it's real. In a world where so many people are weighed down by responsibility, hidden sadness, or unspoken fatigue, your presence becomes a quiet rebellion against emotional numbness. And someone out there has noticed. Not just your outer confidence or your charisma, but the subtle, gentle strength you carry even when you think no one is watching. There's a moment that lives in the space between people, an invisible bridge where healing travels without effort. That's the moment this person experiences every time they see you. It might be a passing glance on the street, a photo online, or a memory they replay when life feels too heavy. You didn't plan it. You didn't even realize it. But you became their reminder that something more is possible. You, without even trying, became proof that light still lives in the world. Astrologically, when the energy of Leo is active, especially during Venus retrograde in your own signet, pulls hidden emotions to the surface. Not just yours, but others as well. This planetary configuration often brings old admiration, unspoken feelings, or long-lost connections back into awareness. It's less about romance in the conventional sense and more about soul-level recognition. You may have become an anchor of joy, a spark of hope, or even a silent inspiration to someone who's been drifting too long in their own shadows. In energy healing, we speak of resonance, the way one frequency can lift another just by proximity. You are that frequency. Not because you're trying to be, but because you've chosen to stay kind in a world that doesn't always make that easy. And the person who sees you in this way isn't just admiring from afar, they're quietly being transformed. They may not reach out. They may never find the words. But something in them is shifting because of the light you carry. That matters. That is sacred. In self-help work, we often talk about the importance of authenticity, how the most powerful relationships begin not with chasing, but with presence. Your energy isn't magnetic because you're trying to impress. It's magnetic because you're in alignment. You are not seeking approval. You are grounded in truth. That is what draws people in, not only romantically, but spiritually, emotionally, and even energetically. You don't have to chase this person or decode their silence. You don't even have to know who they are. Your only task is to keep showing up as you. Keep letting your laughter reach into the spaces where silence used to live. Keep letting your eyes shine a little brighter when the world feels dull. That alone is more powerful than any romantic pursuit. It's a gift you're giving without knowing, and one day, whether it's from this person or someone else entirely, that energy will return to you in a way that's even more honest, more profound, and more lasting. Love, in its purest form, is never about performance. It's about resonance. And when someone looks at you and sees the sky, what they're really seeing is the part of themselves that still hopes, still dreams, still believes. You didn't give them that. You reminded them it was already there. And that, Leo, is what makes your presence divine. There are seasons in life when the most profound journeys don't take us anywhere physically. They carry us inward, into the spaces within us that we've abandoned, neglected, or outgrown. And then, quietly and without fanfare, something shifts. A door opens, not on the outside, but inside your being, and suddenly, you realize you're returning to a place you never stopped missing. This is the return we speak of now, Leo. And as the energy of August 31st surrounds you, it's not just about someone else walking back into your life, or a home becoming whole again. It's about the sacred moment when you find your way back to yourself. In astrology, return energy is closely associated with planetary cycles that remind us of where we've been and where we truly belong. It's a gentle, often emotional process of rediscovering what anchors us, what soothes us, what defines safety in our nervous system, not just in our address, but in our soul. The cosmic currents right now are supporting that process. Whether it's a literal return, a loved one coming back, a long-awaited home being restored, or a metaphorical one, like reconnecting with an old dream, or simply remembering who you are beneath all the layers you've had to wear for survival, the vibration of this moment is sacred. Leo, you are a fire sign ruled by the sun. You thrive in radiance, in clarity, in full presence. But even the sun retreats at night. Even the brightest beings must return inward to rest, to remember, and to renew. This kind of return is not weakness, it is strength in its most honest form. To admit we need grounding. To admit we need softness. To admit we've been too far from our own center for too long. For some, this may manifest in something deeply practical. Maybe you've been distant from your physical home, or your family. Maybe you've been waiting for renovations to finish, for a lease to begin, or for that feeling that you finally belong in the place where you live. And for others, the home in question is entirely emotional. Perhaps it's the joy you once felt when you woke up early to create. Or the stillness you used to access before your mind became too noisy. Or maybe it's a version of you that you thought was gone, the one who laughed freely, trusted easily, dreamed boldly. Home isn't always walls and windows. Sometimes it's a playlist, a conversation, a journal, a scent, a memory. And sometimes, home is that sudden exhale after months of holding your breath. That moment when you whisper to yourself, "There I am. I'm still here." That moment is a return. And it is holy. In the self-help realm, we often talk about the importance of external environment shaping our internal state. But what's often missed is how much power we have to reset the energy of a space, not just by moving furniture, but by re-entering it with intention. Cleaning a room is not just about dust, it's about reclaiming authority. Lighting a candle is not just for ambience, it's about choosing presence. Opening a window is not just about ventilation, it's a symbolic declaration: I welcome in the new. I make room for clarity. I am ready to feel alive here again. So if something or someone is coming back into your life right now, bless it. But don't forget to bless the version of you that is returning, too. The you who chose to feel again. The you who dared to soften after being hardened by life. The you who realizes that home isn't something you find, it's something you remember. And the truth is, Leo, you've never truly left. You were simply gathering the courage to come back in full. And now, you're here. There is a kind of warmth that doesn't come from fire, but from presence. A kind of heat that doesn't bend, it heals. Leo, you are that warmth. You are the quiet ember that keeps glowing when others have dimmed. In a world that is constantly spinning, asking us to perform, to compete, to compare, you carry something different, a natural radiance that doesn't scream for attention, it offers comfort, truth, and resilience. And what you may not realize is how many lives are quietly orbiting around your light, finding hope just by witnessing you stay soft in a world that often demands hardness. You don't need a stage to change the room. You don't need a spotlight to shift someone's day. Your energy speaks before your words ever do. And what it says is this: it's okay to keep going. That's the magic of your presence. It reminds people of what still lives inside them: joy, courage, softness, faith. You awaken what's been asleep. And in doing so, you help others remember how to feel again. In astrology, Leo is ruled by the sun, the life giver of the zodiac, the source of vitality, vision, and soul expression. And just like the sun, your presence doesn't need to prove anything. It simply rises, again and again, even after the longest nights. The power of Leo is not just in grand gestures or bold declarations, it's in your consistent ability to show up, to choose optimism even when things are uncertain, to extend kindness even when you're the one who needs it most. This energy becomes especially potent when filtered through self-awareness and care. When you choose to nourish your body, tend to your nervous system, and protect your peace, you amplify your impact. You're not just giving from an empty well, you're radiating from overflow. And that kind of glow heals people in ways words never could. From a self-help and wellness perspective, the message here is simple but transformative. Your health is not a luxury, it's your fuel. If your body is the vessel for your light, then treating it with tenderness becomes sacred work. Reducing caffeine, especially if anxiety or insomnia has crept in, is not weakness, it's wisdom. Moving your body gently through yoga or meditation isn't about being trendy, it's about remembering that stillness is a form of strength. And even the color you put on your plate matters. Orange foods like carrots, sweet potatoes, or roasted squash stimulate the sacral and solar plexus chakras, the energy centers of joy, creativity, and inner confidence. These aren't just nutritional choices, they are energetic affirmations. I choose to thrive. In the greater framework of the law of attraction, your vibration is not determined by how loud you are, but how grounded you are in who you really are. When you show up for your own joy, your own rest, your own nourishment, you become a silent catalyst for those around you. You don't have to fix their lives. You only have to model wholeness. You don't have to rescue anyone. You only have to show them that healing is possible because they see it in you. There's a quote I love that says, "Be the lighthouse, not the lifeboat." And Leo, that's exactly what you are. You don't have to carry others. You don't have to exhaust yourself trying to be everything to everyone. Just keep shining. Keep being soft and strong at the same time. Keep choosing faith when fear is louder. And trust that your light is doing more than you'll ever know for others, yes, but most importantly, for you. Leo, by now you've heard the whispers between the lines. Not just predictions, but confirmations. Not just possibilities, but invitations. You've been waiting for a sign that your efforts were not in vain, that your presence matters, that something bigger is unfolding in your favor. And this very momentous that sign. The message is already in motion. The blessing is already en route. Your name is already written on the gift. The only question now is, will you open your hands and allow yourself to receive it? Too often, we delay our own blessings not because we don't want them but because we don't believe we're ready. But Leo, readiness is not perfection. Readiness is willingness. A soft yes in the heart is more than enough. You don't have to figure it all out. You don't have to be fearless. You only have to show up, stay open, and walk through the door when it appears. And what if the door doesn't look how you expected? What if the gift doesn't arrive in the package you imagined? Would you recognize it anyway? Take a breath. Feel into your body. What have you been silently asking for? What breakthrough have you been praying will find you in the middle of your silent perseverance? What would it mean to believe that it's already on the way? That the universe, despite all delays and detours, has not forgotten you? That you are not just worthy of receiving, but divinely positioned to hold more than you've ever allowed yourself to imagine? This is your moment to decide what story you'll tell yourself going forward. Will it be the story of waiting in fear, or the story of rising in faith? Will you keep rehearsing old disappointments, or will you begin practicing what it feels like to live inside the answered prayer? What happens when you stop preparing for the worst and begin preparing to be surprised by grace? And as you reflect, I invite you to pause for just a moment and ground this experience. If you feel connected to this message, write in the comments, "I am ready to receive what is already mine." By doing so, you affirm not just to me but to yourself, to your future, and to the energetic field around you that you are open, aware, and aligned. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Your presence here matters more than you know. Every like, every comment, every subscription is not just support, it's sacred reciprocity. It fuels this mission, this channel, and the messages that continue to reach those who need them most. I see you. I honor you. And I deeply appreciate you. If this message touched your heart, please don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and share eternal mindfulness with those you love. This space was created for you, for your healing, your growth, and your return to self. And trust me, Leo, you'll want to stay until the very end. Because what the universe is revealing next might just change everything.